In the world, there are many criminal organizations capable of shaking national and international governments. We've both heard of the mafia, the yakuza, and the drug cartels, extremely illegal institutions operating on illegal business principles. Some have become more profitable than Wall Street, and in this video we will be putting a spotlight on them. What are the 10 wealthiest criminals organizations ever seen in the world? Number 10. The Medelln cartel. If the Medelln cartel still exists today, it would undoubtedly be at the top of the list because this organization was a powerful and highly organized Colombian drug cartel and terrorist-type criminal organization created and led by Pablo Escobar in the city of Medelln, Colombia. It is widely regarded as the first major drug cartel and was referred to as such, a cartel, since the organization's upper echelons were established on a collaboration between many Colombian traffickers working with Escobar. The name Pablo Escobar immediately conjures up tales of never-ending wealth, and believe me when I say this, the novel contains more truth than fiction. Escobar founded the cartel in his 20s in the city of Medelln, and according to official records in Colombia, the over $20 billion were generated by the organization per year, and the majority of the wealth was obtained through the illegal cocaine trade, a dash of political trafficking, thuggery, and violence, as well as shipping of criminally exotic materials. I'll leave the last part to your imagination, but if you're one of those skeptics who doubt the Medelln cartel was that wealthy, you should know that Pablo was not the only official billionaire who worked for the cartel. Number 9. Camorra. How does a non-centralized organization amass $4.9 billion? That's a difficult question to answer from your couch, but not for those in the Camorra cartel. Camorra is an Italian mafia criminal organization and criminal society that originated in the Campania area. It is one of Italy's oldest and greatest criminal groups. Unlike the Sicilian mafia's pyramidal structure, the Camorra's organizational structure is divided into separate groupings known as clans. Every capo, or boss, is the clan's leader. They began as a loose association of different criminals with nothing to lose, devoted to one simple goal: the accumulation of wealth. By the 1800s, politicians provided this organized association of criminals with the needed arsenal to overthrow the existing monarchy after being a part of such a monumental shift in history. The Camorra cartel began to shift its focus from wealth to power. Amassing power is not a problem, but when combined with illegal operations such as drug trafficking and counterfeiting, the government will come after you, which is exactly what happened. But by then it was too late because the Camorra cartel had already gone international, and it now holds considerable power in Italy, with a vice grip on the waste management systems in Naples. Not bad for a 400-year-old criminal organization. Number 8. Sinaloa cartel. Everyone knows that the drug trade is a profitable business, including the CIA. After discussing the incredible exploits of the Medelln cartel, we thought it would be appropriate to shine a light on the cartel that took its place as the largest cartel in the world. Official records show that the notorious Sinaloa cartel earns at least $3 billion per year, but I find that figure incredibly low, and here's why. First, the Sinaloa cartel is currently one of the largest in the world, and it controls 60% of the drug revenues. So the first question is, what is the value of the drug market? Well, depending on who you ask, it is anywhere between $6.5 billion and $500 billion. The range is so big that no one knows for sure how much is made, but everyone is certain of one thing: the Sinaloa cartel owns and controls more than half of it. The cartel was founded by El Chapo Guzman, whose life is interesting enough to have its own video. He's been able to control the cartel from jail and on the run, and even if you despise what he's built, you have to respect his leadership qualities. Number 7. Drangheta. There is no doubt that Italy has a long history with organized crime, and it is not just a Hollywood phenomenon. You may not have heard of them as Ndrangheta, but they are one of the most important members of the global network of the Italian mafia. And how much do they make on paper? $4.5 billion, but, once again, I believe that is probably conservative, and I'll explain why. The Ndrangheta is an Italian mob that was founded in the 19th century in Calabria. Their main source of income was and still is cocaine, and they have grown to become one of Europe's most powerful cocaine traffickers. What distinguishes this organization is its ability to maintain positive relationships with other criminal organizations. They frequently choose compromise over violence, making them allies rather than enemies, and incredibly difficult cases to crack for law enforcement agencies. In recent years, the 200-year-old criminal organization has entered into money laundering, investing money in legal businesses to wash their endless funds. If you have a business idea and don't mind the source of their wealth, you could contact them. Number 6. Yamaguchigumi. You may not have heard of the yamaguchigumi, but you have undoubtedly heard of the Yakuza, Japan's counterpart of the Italian Mafia, and just as Camera is part of the Italian Mafia, Yamaguchi-gumi is part of the Japanese Yakuza, so let's get started. Anyone who knows the Yakuza in Japan knows that they are one of the most principled criminal organizations in the world. They are so strict that if you break one of their rules or laws, you are expected to go through an atonement ritual called the yubitsum, which essentially means cutting off a little finger to show how sorry you are. The Yamaguchigumi, the greatest syndicate under the Yakuza umbrella, was created in 1916 by Harakichi Yamaguchi. Today, they have at least 2,400 active members and 18,600 affiliated members. The majority of their funds are obtained through extortion, gambling, the sex industry, arms and drug trafficking, stock market manipulation, and online pornography. It is said that the syndicate earns at least $6 billion every year. However, I believe it is far more than that. Number 5. Solnsevskaya. It should come as no surprise that Russia has its own mafia. The Solnsevskaya Mafia is Russia's largest and most powerful mafia, with an estimated annual income of $8.5 billion, from contract killing to money laundering to drug dealing. There is hardly anything that this Russian mafia subsidiary does not do. They have their hands in every pie, unlike the Axar, which is highly centralized with a clear chain of command. This organization offers something special. The group has 9,000 members who are divided into 10 separate, almost independent brigades that operate more or less on their own, but when they need to work together, they pool their resources and achieve their goals. Their money is overseen by a 12-person council that meets regularly in different parts of the world, often disguising their meetings as festive occasions. Number 4. D Company. I'm wondering how many people include India when they bring up a list of organized crime. Probably none, either due to a lack of searching or because most people do not care to look. Dawood Ibrahim established a criminal syndicate in 1970s India. Dawood stays under the radar because he is now ranked 3rd on the FBI's most wanted list for his support of terrorism. His criminal organization is transporting heroin and opium, but over time it expanded to assist and fund Al-Qaeda. The criminal organization earns at least $6.7 billion every year, and this amount is hearsay since Dawood has been so skilled at disguising his tracks that since he masterminded the 1993 Mumbai bombing, neither Interpol, the CIA, nor the FBI have been able to find him, and he is still running his criminal enterprise from the shadows. Number 3. La Cosa Nostra. When it comes to criminal organizations, few are as popular and admired as the Cosa Nostra, also known as the Sicilian Mafia and simply referred to as the Mafia. The group had its humble beginnings in the 1800s in Sicily, Italy. Legend has it that it began as a prison gang with a semblance of the same structure and values that the modern-day Mafia still has over the years. Because of the political instability of the time, the Cosa Nostra moved from prisons and villages to more influential positions of power. They collaborated with opposing government factions to carry out assassinations and other forms of sabotage. When the mad tyrant Mussolini came into power and proved too violent for even the mafia bosses, they fled to the United States and Canada to continue their operations. Extortion, gambling, prostitution, and money laundering are just a few examples. Cosa Nostra has a global membership of at least 25,000 members and 250,000 affiliates, with a total revenue of roughly $50 billion. Number 2. Golf Cartel. The Gulf Cartel deserves its place on this list as one of the oldest criminal organizations in Mexico. With their base firmly entrenched in Mexico, the group traffics drugs throughout the United States and even into Europe. Aside from drugs, they are particularly known for their high-profile kidnappings and extreme violence. They also seem to have a finger in almost every pie, dabbling in everything and anything criminal that they can lay their hands on. Number 1. The Triads. The Triads are the most established and dangerous criminal organization to have existed in a long time. They are based in Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan, but have spread to South Africa, the United States, Great Britain, South America, and Russia. Their main business is human trafficking, and they transport at least 100,000 individuals throughout the world each year. Other illegal enterprises that they manage include drug transportation, racketeering, and other types of crime that fit their fancy. They are generally decentralized, which is why dissolving them has been so tough. A low-level member of the triad may easily be mistaken for a leader since they are given a lot of liberty and no one understands how their money travels. All we know is that they have a lot of it. Some have estimated $13 billion, while others have suggested higher figures, but no one will ever know because the organization is so loose and hidden. If you want more information, like this video, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video from us.